Hi there, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the evening drive home with NJ Evans. I am NJ Evans, and I might as well tell you who's in my audience. My little friendly cats. They're all with me. I don't know at what point in time they're going to make their presence known, so I'm just giving you a heads up. So, my thought is, have you ever heard you are the gift and need to show up to help yourself? Well, that's kind of sort of what we're talking about now. You are also hearing my wake up voice. 2 cups of coffee and up since the early morning hours, about 2 o'clock in the morning. And now it's a little after 5, I believe. Anyway, so good day to you, Grand Rising. Even though I do say the evening drive home, depends on what side of the clock you're looking at. Every now and then, I'm inspired to write about a topic and deliver that subject based upon the strength of the push to do so. I'm very quiet, laid back type of person. Many times I observe things, however, I usually will only share my observation with those closest to me. Unless, like today, I'm inspired to walk down a particular journey. Why today? I'm not sure. Planetary positioning, who knows? However, the topic would not let me go to bed. I wanted to go to bed, go back to sleep. Anyhow, can you relate to what I'm saying? No, okay then. So, once again, welcome to the evening drive home. As the heading indicated, my subject is generic to a point. Here are the rules. I'm not interested in speaking directly to any person. These are observations across many years or timelines. Things I've noticed as a young woman entering during fighting for my career over the years. The influence or influences who will remain anonymous until I decide. Some may be named where appropriate. Up to this moment in time, I am one of the millions of baby boomers. These are my thoughts and some of my experiences, and others just observations. Okay, the above is for clarity's sake. I don't want anybody saying that it was because of. As I said a minute ago, my cat has decided that she found a box and she needs to disrupt my flow here only because she hears me speaking, and I told her what I was getting ready to do. I just love that girl. So back to my story. Just before 5 a.m. and about 2, as I laid my head on my pillow, I could hear sentences and thoughts to write down. Hmm. At first, I didn't move. However, then I decided this will disappear if I continue to claim I am laying here and not moving. That lasted until I could see just why I should get up and write and speak to you. I was imagining a child with his or her parent, young parent. The child appeared to be very happy, and truth be told, the child resembled a toddler, speaking and looking into the face of his or her mom's eyes, happy, displaying comfort and uninhibited demonstration of love for this adult who is taking good care of this child. It looks like a girl child. However, during the vision, I was feeling I needed to prepare the parent, the mom or dad, and let them know the parenting they had as young people was not, will not be appropriate and work for this child because of the awareness level. But like you're already aware of this fact with your child. Hence the reason why some of your grade school children are encountering challenges with school curriculum and disposition as those who have been designated to educate your child. Okay, wait a minute. Teachers, hear me out first. Hear me out because I'm not attacking everybody. I am attacking some, but not everybody. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't make your foot fit it. Okay. All are not equal, and that includes the teachers. Not only for the children in grade school, high school, but also those attending college level classes and above. As I see it, the thought is for you to take control of the education of your young minds who trust you unconditionally. Yes, some of you are performing millions of things to do just to navigate the system and keep the food and water on the table and the roof over the heads of your family. I know the journey very well. However, you signed up for this job. That means thinking outside the box. You incorporated your inner guides and any other outside help and influence that will assist you on this journey. No, this is not one of those conversations. However, maybe it should be. I'm not omitting the church, the spiritual guidance for your children. I'm including you as the person who gave birth and adopted that child and notice the beauty and the light in that child's eyes. The light needs to stay on until that child is at least 12 years of age. And yes, you will be challenged on that one every step of the way. However, like I said, you did sign up for this position. Don't you remember? Your era is important. Yes, you ask. Take a look at what is happening in your communities, your families, your peers. And do you really comprehend the level of mathematics your child is using as a mandatory curriculum? Mandatory. Okay. Do you feel you are being left out for a reason? Or are you just behind because that was not taught to you? Okay. So what about the child? You are aware there is a rule, unwritten, I'm sure, in the third and fourth grades, sixth and seventh grades. If a child doesn't read on grade level and function on grade level in math, that mystical math and reading, they will be left back. No questions asked. To might, blame, possibly. No, none of that. None of that. The school is very strict and rigid in that decision. Those grades right there. And I always wondered why those two grades or that grade area. Then I figured out something else, and I bet you did too. It has a lot to do with the self-development of the child. It does. Look it up. Are you still with me? If not, I comprehend, but I'm moving on. If you are, this includes working long hours. You would have to do that. And remember something, you're in this game by yourself if you are alone as the breadwinner. If you have company and the person is participating, right on, let's keep on going. The future of your legacy is riding on your ability to stay in the game of education and the workforce to provide a stable environment for those you promise to take care of until they could do so themselves. Now, let me share something about the workforce and you. And that is the fact that you will have to have certain new tools that you're using in order for you to be able to stay abreast and keep in step with or in front of the masses. And that's not even including AI. So there's a inner strength that you're going to need to learn how to tap into and call forth when you need it. And there are those that are going to say, no, that's not real. Yes, it's real. Just do your own investigation. Find out, because that's the kind of forces that is coming to the forefront now. Your inner strength is mandatory so that you can bring your legacy forward. And we really mean bring that child, those children forward. It's going to get interesting. No matter what country you're in, it's going to become interesting. So the future of your legacy is riding on your ability to stay in the game of education and the workforce to provide a stable environment. That's the key for those you promised to take care of until they could do better themselves. Trust me, in the wrong living environment, that is a huge challenge. However, you did sign up for this assignment on the spiritual plane. Whether you believe it or not, it is very irrelevant to me. All right. But it has to be very important to you. If you can get your child safely to the ripe old age of 12, and 12 is not a magical number, and yet it is, okay? But 12, 13, without a broken spirit, and there are a lot of young people from all different generations who had a broken spirit at 12 years old. And they had to struggle to come all the way back to square one. We don't want that for yours. We want you to be able to just see, understand, and move forward. So remember, your last big challenge with that child before the real ones start will be at the ripe old age of 12. I will put you on the path. You do the homework. Not only the outside influences, peer pressure, but also the adults. My terminology, built like a stack of Bibles for the ladies and the young men. Well, I'm sure each culture has an expression. Each culture. We are now visiting another room because I had to get rid of my people who are really trying to invade my territory. All right. So, anyway, back to the story. It's not much longer to go from here. Here is the key. Who raised the child? Was the child close to that person? And that person was good and correct with the child? I'm talking about who was with that child when that child reached the ripe old age of 12. Was it a grandparent? Was it you? Was it an uncle? Was it an aunt? Who was watching the child while you were at work or while you were attending school? Who was watching the child while you were in the next room working? Whoever that person is and has that kind of connection to your child, when that child reaches 12 years old, if anything happens to that person, they're going to feel the impact emotionally. And sometimes they don't understand where they went emotionally, but they'll disappear if you're not connected to them. You understand? So if that person should leave that child's orbit for whatever the reason, now your challenges will begin. Be aware you can fill that emptiness, and stop the lack of self-love and help that child cross over to the other side away from that drama. I believe there's a song called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Well, my dears, there's a strong possibility that'll happen if you don't catch that child before it's too late. That child will need your help to navigate and to enter the world and lifestyle of a preteen to teenager and then onward. By the way, what you see is what you get. Once that child is 9 years old, whatever disposition, attitude, and positive energy or negative energy that child has between 0 to 9 years old, you're going to see it 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's going to show itself because now they're taller than you or tall as you, able to articulate, and they'll have a lot to say. Just keep that in your hat, just in case. For those of you who've never had children before, I've had a few. That is with less cell phone assistance. Now imagine your era, cell phone is big, and that's going to be your greatest challenge, one of them. Okay. And you don't have to have my grandkids have cell phones, and I'm looking at them. How old are you? I don't think, holy smoke. Yeah, no. Less control, less influence. That's the reason why I say no. Learn how to use the instrument, yes, but guide it, govern it, move it that way until you know that that child knows what the heck they're doing. They'll watch a finance report before they sit down and have any kind of other stuff that'll get them into trouble. This is not an easy time for you. However, you must believe you got this. And if not, start a group with people of like minds in your community. That'll help a lot, I believe. Let me share this in closing. Once upon a time, not very many years ago, I lived on the West Coast during a very eclectic era and city. Eclectic, odd. This particular day, I was at a restaurant waiting for a friend, and I noticed a very handsome man of color standing opposite from where I was, and we connected. Okay, We engaged in a conversation. The brother was handsome and smart and mannerable. Geez, all in one package. He was a businessman, a young man around my age at that time, and he was in my adopted home city to bid on a contract. He was from the Midwest. I thought to myself, really interesting. He's strong enough and confident enough to venture into another part of the country and place his bid on a new proposal coming out for inner city youth. Somebody else's turf. I knew about that contract because I was part of that selection of first round. But he wasn't my competition. I was fascinated. Why? Why there? Why now? Those kinds of questions. He shared his background story. He was from a single female head of household, mother working 2 jobs, living in the hood. Now, here's the surprise. The neighborhood older men liked his mother and what she stood for and decided to help with the raising of her son. Oh, right on, guys. In that radius, he had the support of men who truly looked out for him and his mother. They taught him how to be a businessman. They taught him how to be a gentleman. They taught him how to have street knowledge and when and where to use it. They made sure he went to college and stayed there and graduated on time and returned the favor by making them proud of what he had become. From where I stood, I mentioned that to him. He kept his promise. We went our separate ways and kept in touch. He did get the contract in my adopted hometown. I was glad. He fits. He was a good thing. Now, or I should say, a good person. Have you ever seen one of those handsome brothers who had the grooming, look, intelligence, articulation, and knew using both respects for his incorporating street business wit? Well, I call those kind of guys groomed. And he was well groomed. And that's what some of these young ladies need to find, and not the ones that I see them hanging out with. Plus, our young women got to understand clothing it's not an allergic reaction that you respond to by removing your clothes. You have to be able to keep your clothes on and get the same point across without any gyrations. But then again, depends on what your mindset is. What's your value? Is your value more monetary? I can buy you with 10 cents and I can get you to become my whatever. No, ladies, you're going to have to be stronger than that. And the same thing for the men. You're going to be tested like that, like a champion. You see it every day on the media. And I'm media. And I'm telling you, you've seen it on media. That's seeping into your subconscious mind, giving you the A-OK to go ahead and do this. And that's not possible, because you have things to do here in life and you can't be deterred. Here's the first thing. Sexually involved with an individual simply means that you and that individual are sharing the same energy. Now, if he's involved with 3 or 4 other women, or you're involved with 3 or 4 other men, that means that those 3 or 4 other people are now incorporated into the relationship between you and him. Replay that so you can get that. I'm saying that to you because that'll hold you back. And that's without the baby. Please, please catch your kids if you can. Catch your children if you can. Anyway, I'm sure that gentleman did fine. And I hope that he had a wonderful life as well, meaning family and the whole thing, and his mother and everybody's proud. I hope you hear my message, because honestly speaking, I could not lay down. Every time I kept hearing another sentence or another way to go, but I couldn't lay down and go back to sleep. I already had 2 cups of coffee under my belt, and my voice was not coming in clearly. So I said, oh, we're just going to have to go for the gusto. But I think you heard me. Your legacy, not anybody else's, yours, needs you more now than ever before. Don't believe and don't be afraid of math and science. That's just thinking. If you can do math, you can think business. If you can do science, you can do analytical analysis. You understand? It's simple. If you ask, someone will assist you. I personally would start with the largest library in your town. Go there first, see who are the college students who are offering their services up, and then also interview them as you would be interviewed for that position. I wish you well. Yes, I'm a baby boomer, and I have quite a lot of grandchildren too. And I feel the same way about them as I feel about you. This is not an easy time for you, but you better make it. You better make it because your legacy is depending upon you to set that foundation. Don't care about what people say about you. Hit your target. Whatever your goal is, hit it and keep on going because the babies that are coming will not understand and they're coming wide awake. So you don't want a 5-year-old telling you that you dropped the ball. Okay? That's all I got to say, except for this last thing. Words are things, thoughts are things. Remember to create the reality that you truly do desire. Pause. Think about that. And not one that you don't. I guess I'll stay awake now for the next few hours. I'll take a nap a little bit later after the Sunday dinner. I got to get going. It's time for me to fix the dinner. You guys have a great one. Talk to you next time. This is NJ Evans. Ciao.